What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another barber tutorial. Today we are doing a texture top, and also we're going to go ahead and do some tapers on the side, line them up nice and sharp. It's going to come out clean. I usually do a fade on his hair, but this time around he wanted some tapers on the side, so he wants some tapers. We're going to go ahead and do the best we can. So the very first thing that I like to do on these type of haircuts is go ahead and trim down the top if the client wants it. I typically like to do that first, that way I leave the main part complete and kind of like the shape is already done on top. But the way I like to begin is I like to begin in the very middle, in the front area, and that's gonna be my guideline, and I'm gonna follow that guideline all the way to the back. Now for this step, I'm going to be going in and applying some texture, making sure I'm doing some point cuts. And I like to start off from the back and move my way all the way to the front. For me, it's just easier that way to be able to section out a lot cleaner. And the main part of this haircut is really just trying to mess up the top as much as you can. So really go in there and set in some deep point cuts just to really get that nice texture. So now that the top is complete, I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the side, and I'm using my Oster Octanes with the number 2 detachable blade to go ahead and remove all the bulk right there on the side. It is kind of long, so I definitely do want to shorten that up. And the reason why I'm using detachable blade is just I feel like it comes out a lot smoother on the side than if I was just to throw a guard on my clipper, and it's a lot faster, I want to say. Now using a detachable clipper isn't necessary, but I just happen to have one, so I'm gonna go ahead and use it. So when I'm going in with the number 2 guard, I'm pretty much ending up where his head starts to round out. Well, just right before that point. That way it gives me just enough room to go in with the clipper over comb and continue up the shape like in a parallel way. Now to go ahead and begin the taper, I'm grabbing my trimmers that are not zero gap. These are strictly just balding clippers. I'm gonna go ahead and set in my first initial guideline, and as you guys can see, it is kind of like in an oval way, just because I want to leave the hooks nice and dark. So by doing that, it's gonna allow me to leave a lot of length right there in the hook area. Now whenever I'm doing a bald taper, I always make sure that I'm using my full shaver just to make sure that the taper is nice and bald. Now for my shaver, I am using the Endless Profile shaver. That's typically the one that I use the most and pretty much my favorite one. Now I'm switching over to my Gamma boosted clipper to go ahead and set in my first guideline. And I'm starting off with no guard with the lever all the way open, and I'm going up about ½ an inch. Now I've been using these clippers for about 2 weeks now, and I gotta say I do really like them. I feel like they're pretty much just like the Gamma Rebels or the Stylecraft Rebels, but for some reason they just feel a little bit more bulky to me in a way. The weight is pretty much the exact same thing, and the power, I find that it's the same thing too. But right here I'm going in with my lever all the way closed, and I'm basically going to be using every single notch until I get to the lever all the way open, and just I'm really making sure that I'm using the corner of my blade just to do that real detail work. Here I attach my half guard to the clipper, and once again starting with the lever all the way open to go ahead and create a new guideline. I'm going to be going up about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm really going to be making sure that you see that separation to where you can see the double line. Now the bottom line is barely visible, but it's there, so I'm gonna be working my way down at the lever at the halfway position and start to down fade, and then if I need to, I'm gonna go ahead and close the lever all the way in just the areas that I see needed. Now moving on to the one guard with the lever all the way open, and just continuing to do the exact same thing, going up about 1/4 of an inch, just trying to continue the blend all the way up before we get to the very top. And the number 2 detachable blade is kind of like a 1.5 guard, I want to say. So after this, one guard all the way open is pretty much going to be almost blended out. Now here I'm closing the lever all the way and just really going in, doing some detail work on the spaces that need it. Now I have the 1.5 guard with the lever all the way closed, and this is just to finalize the taper, just to kind of lighten up anything that needs to be lined up to finish off the side taper. But now moving on to the neck taper, I'm going to be doing the exact same steps that I did on the side taper, starting off with the bald guideline using my trimmers. Now for the neck taper, I always find that I have a lot more room to work with than on the side taper, so the guidelines are going to be a little more stretched out than I did in the side taper. So now for the next step, going back with my gamma boosted clipper with the lever all the way open, and this time I'm going to be going up about 1 inch. Now if you guys would like to purchase this clipper, I'm going to leave a link down in the description down below on where you guys could purchase it. I highly recommend you guys checking out Lifestyle Barber Supply. They have great prices, and then when you purchase one of these, they automatically give you the Gamma Uno shaver, which is their mini shaver that comes in handy whenever you want to like shave like the mustache area or anything like that. Now here to blend in the two to the top, I'm gonna be using the clipper over comb, and my clipper is at an all the way open position. And the one main thing that I like to focus on is I like to maintain a nice shape. And what I mean by that is I like to, like on the side of his head, I like to keep that parallel shape. I don't want to be digging into it, that way it doesn't look like a mohawk. And then I don't want to flare out too much, right? Because then I'm gonna be having those hangover hairs that I I definitely don't like. Now here I'm going back over with the number 2 detachable blade just to really finish off the transition from the bottom to the top. Now before I line them up, I definitely like to trim off the front area a little bit just to really help out my liners, because you guys know, like, when you're going in a very bulky area, it's really kind of stressful for your trimmers. So by debulking the area first, that's gonna benefit the clippers a lot more and make it easier to line up. So now here I'm gonna style his hair really quick before I go in with the lineup. I'm just gonna be using the texture powder, so it's not really gonna get in the way too much. I just really want to style it first. But I have my blow dryer in a medium hot setting, and really I'm not using no brush or no comb or anything like that, since the main purpose is for that texture look. So I'm really going to be going in with my hand and just kind of messing his hair all the way up. But the main part is I want to make sure that his hair is completely dry before I apply the texture powder. So now applying the texture powder, I am using the level 1 texture powder. I find that all the texture powders are pretty much all the same. So use whichever you have or whichever one you could get your hand on. They're all pretty much the same in my opinion. But if you guys would like to purchase this one, it is the level 3. But I like to open up his hair, that way the texture powder goes all the way down into the roots and doesn't just stay at the very top. That way he gets really nice hold, and it's easier to style that way. So now I'm gonna be going in and lining up the neck area. These trimmers that I'm using, I believe they're called the Babyliss FX3s. And I did do a lot of modifications to this trimmer to get them to hit the way they're hitting right now. It honestly took me a while for them to hit. Like, straight out the box, honestly, they were not good at all. Like, you know, when you guys get that trimmer that only hits with one specific side of the blade, that's pretty much how it was. I definitely did not like the blade that it came with, so I purchased the Filthy Blends mod, and that really allows you to put that regular blade, the regular Babyliss blade that comes with your gold FXs, and that blade honestly is the best blade that you could get. Now once again, I went through about, I want to say, 2 blades and finally found the right blade that but just cut perfectly with this trimmer, and honestly it's probably one of the best trimmers that I've used, period. But like I said, it took a lot of patience and a lot of experimenting with different blades to be able to get them to hit the way that they hit right now. But man, that feeling when you know you got some hitters, that is probably like one of the best feelings as a barber, to be honest with you guys. But you guys, we are getting towards the end of the haircut. I did not record the razor part. I also applied a little bit of enhancements to the corner area of his lineup. Did he need it? No, but I definitely like to apply it whenever I'm doing any type of video or taking a picture. It just makes it pop that much more, and as you guys can see, it is super clean. The top is nice and textured, the sides are nice and blended. Everything came together. I hope you guys liked it. If you guys did, feel free to hit that thumbs up. And once again, I appreciate all you guys for watching. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this week, you guys. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.